That's how you go back to the past in a productive, creative way. When you retrieve the past, you're retrieving it in the now, predicated on who you are in that now. And I'm talking about your phenotype, and I'm talking about your height, your medical condition, your physical condition, and your experience, and your native intelligence, your common sense. It's predicated on experience. That's an individual thing, an individual specific thing. And you have to go back to the past. All you have, all that exists is now. What's going now? And the now keeps on changing. But it takes good judgment and a lot of experience to deal with the newness of the now, to deal with the variables, to approach them with discipline, and as if you were a scientist, an investigator with no stake in a situation. It takes a lot of skill, a lot of training, and ability to be able to do that when you are the subject of the investigation. And the questions you ask, the prompts you ask of yourself, you're the one, nobody else, who will face the consequences of the decisions you make in the now. It's all consciousness, it's all awareness, it's all ego. Where it is sexuality, raw carnal sexuality, ego must be there to build up the right defense systems and ask the right questions. All the power, and I said all of the power must go to the ego. This is the consciousness, this is the awareness, this is what you use to reason with and to come to conclusions. Now listen to me very closely. You won't hear this from a Tony Robbins, but you hear it from me. And you're hearing it from a common man with no experience, just like you. This is the ordinary common man talking to you. I'm 5'2.5". As you could see, I have a big old moon face. One has to live within himself. One has to live within his skin. One has to look in the mirror and see what you see there. The belly fat, the muscle tone, everything. That's who you are. That's the emperor with no clothes. That comes first. I can't do anything with a man. I can't even talk to a man who, when I ask him the question, who are you right now? And he starts dancing away on me. I can't deal with him. We're talking about here a ruthless self-investigation, a ruthless here and now confrontation with yourself, asking the right questions, following through, forcing answers. This is an offshoot of Fritz Perls, Dr. Perls' Hardcore Gestalt, here and now investigation, or individual therapy in a group setting. Things go fast in a good, vigorous, rigorous, hardcore Gestalt with a good clinician that asks the right questions, follows through. Positioning is very important to get at the facts. You have to assume the position of who you're talking about and interrogate yourself in that point of view. All in the now. You have to be relentless as a pit bull. When I bite into something, I hold it. I follow through. No matter where it goes, it's called following the thread, wherever it takes you. And I do mean wherever it takes you. And there's a lot of things. If you have pride, if you're envious, if you're jealous, you can't do this. If you're covetous, you can't do this. You must come in with I'm talking here about a ruthless honesty. This is a ruthless self-interrogation. And one probative leads to another. Very important, the questions you ask yourself and the follow-through predicate. You have to be a hell of a good detective. Sherlock Holmes. Better than Sherlock Holmes. Why? Your existence in all that that means, social, physical, everything is predicated on that. Or if not, then it has to be a fantasy. It has to be an illusion. You have to wear somebody else's picture on your back, a hero figure. But it's not you anymore, because you cannot take, you cannot stand up to, without a fantasy, without a hero figure, without delusions and illusions, what reality, social reality specifically, and physical reality too if you're out of shape, confronts you with, moment to moment. You can't run away. How long can you run? The real question is, when does a man stand? How long can you run? You're running from yourself. And again, the question becomes, who are you right now? What are you? Who are you? The past is a bulwark for the present. The questions of self-interrogation is everything. And to follow through on the honesty with that. You are your own detective. You are your own Sherlock Holmes. If you can catch the visual I'm trying to express. It begins there. If it doesn't begin there, your situation is hopeless. Each man must have that vital discussion with Thanatos. Thanatos being the god of death. Whose death? Your death. Who else could it be? It's an individual specific thing. I'm talking about you personally. I'm talking about me personally. I don't care about anything else. When you have that discussion with Thanatos, you are reduced, you hear what I'm saying, to your individuality, who in the hell you are. What you've done, what you haven't done. Commissions and omissions. This is not a story. It's none of this Tony Robbins bullshit. A story, tell you a better story. Has nothing to do with that. I don't care what story you tell yourself. You're following a ghost. Unless you ask the right question, unless you do exactly what I'm telling you to do, you're following a ghost. You're chasing a ghost. You're going down gopher holes. How do I know this? I don't have any credentials. No one should listen to me. I'm an ordinary man just like you. But I have the experience. I've gone through the process. The toughest thing to warn you, when you talk to Thanatos, you talk to him in suffering. You understand me? When I'll talk to Thanatos, I'm out on that park bench in New York City in the wintertime. Right down there from Trump International. Right down there. Right in the gutter. Right in the street. Sitting on the bench. Cold. The hawk's blowing into me. The wind is high. Maybe it's a 20-mile wind. Maybe it's an 18-mile, 22-mile wind, and changes directions and blows the cold wind chill factor right into the bone. And you got hours and hours to kill until the morning comes and you get a cup of coffee at Starbucks. No bathrooms, no restrooms. You understand me? If you have to go to the bathroom, you go right there. You go into Central Park. Going to Central Park, it's dangerous. You sit out there. You spend the night with me in the freezing cold. You can't lie to the hawk. Nobody lies to the hawk. Nobody lies when you're walking on those streets of broken dreams. Nobody lies to me there. You can't lie to yourself, and that's what I'm talking about. You have to do this inquiry with Thanatos in a situation of great discomfort. Great discomfort. You do that deliberately to get the answers, so you won't get, or the answers you get will be a phony. I could go on and on with this discussion, but I think you get what I'm talking about.